What can you learn from a hand?
Well, I think the hands are exciting because they can tell us about two big questions in human evolution. We use potentially whether or not we're using our hands for climbing in trees and suspending in trees, and how long into our human evolutionary history did we do that, and when did we stop using our hands for locomotion and become fully committed to walking on 2 feet on the ground. But it also can tell us about when we use tools, or when we began to use tools, and when, a human hand is very well known for our dexterity. But we don't know exactly when that dexterity evolved and when we started to use tools and to make tools. And so our hands are directly involved in both of those big questions about human evolution.
If we look at Lucy as an example, what do her hand bones tell us about how she lived or what she did?
Well, we have there are lots of hand bones for Lucy's species, but unfortunately, we don't have sort of articulated or a hand skeleton that belongs to one individual, which means that we are a little bit more limited in what we can say about what Lucy may have done with her hands. But we can put together sort of a composite skeleton of the hand. And when we do that, we can tell that potentially her fingers were a little bit longer relative to the length of her thumb than in a human hand. They weren't as long as, she didn't have quite as long fingers as we see in a chimpanzee or bonobo, but her fingers seem to be a little bit longer potentially than ours are, which is an indication that maybe she was still spending at least some time in the trees. And also her finger bones are a little bit more curved than humans. And both of those things are an indication that she had the potential to spend some time climbing in trees.